the UNNC Outreach Committee meeting. Let me share the agenda for tonight. Can you see it?
Yes, I see it.
Okay, great. So let me scroll down. So I guess I said it was 7 o'clock. So let me write it down. So if someone is ready to move and approve the agenda, please.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, Teresa and Dolores, thank you. Please, I guess everybody raise hands.
No. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, so Lolita, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm not sure if I can participate and raise my hand or do any of that
So,
today.
I think for committees, whoever is in attendance is basically a member of the committee for that particular meeting. So
Okay, great. Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
except for when we have to approve the minutes, I believe. Only
Okay,
the people who were in attendance at that particular meeting could approve the minutes for
Okay.
that meeting. So,
okay.
but
Thank you.
welcome again, and
Thank you.
thank you for coming. All right, so we need to also, I guess everyone can read on their own the determination to continue to hold meetings virtually, AB 361. So you can, if you are familiar with it, fine. If you need to take a moment to read it, this is the time to do it.
I'm good with it. Yeah.
Did everyone have a chance to read it?
Yes.
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 Thank you. So we will move on to the introductions. Most of us know each other already, but we have Lolita. Let me stop the share for now. We have Jacqueline. Welcome, Jacqueline. And we have Vanessa Gutierrez. So let's go and do a round robin of introductions. I guess I'll start. My name is Lizzie Moromisato. I'm a board member of UNNC, chair of outreach. I'm also the rep for Jefferson Park, which is my neighborhood, for the area east of Arlington.
Area 6.
Area 6, that's correct. So let's start with our president, Laura, please.
Oh, hi, I'm Laura Myers. I'm, yes, current president of UNNC, longtime resident of this community, nearing 40 years, actually. I live in Angeles Vista, and I am your Zoom host for the evening. Not your chair, but your Zoom host. And we'll try to keep a low profile. I might even turn off this video to let Lizzie be in charge without having to stare at me.
Okay. Dolores, please. Thank you, Laura.
Dolores Spears. I live in Region 6. Along with Lizzie, I am vice president of UNNC. Been living in the community since 1994.
Thank you, Dee. Teresa.
Hi, everybody. I'm Teresa Masonette. I'm also a board member of the UNNC. I represent the West Adams Avenues, and I've been living here 6 years.
Thank you, Teresa. Let's see. Let's go with Lolita, please.
Hello, I'm Lolita Justice, and I'm in Region 1, West Adams, and I've been living in the area plus 25 years. And I'm new to the organization, and I'm very happy to be part of the organization. So good evening to everyone.
Thank you, Lolita, our brand new board member. So excited.
Thank you.
All right, and we have a guest, Vanessa. Hi, Vanessa, would you please introduce yourself? Oh, seems like you might be muted.
Here she comes.
No, we cannot hear.
She's,
Nope.
why don't we go to Jackie and then come back
let's
to
go with
Vanessa while she,
Jacqueline, and then, yes. Jacqueline, go ahead. Hello.
Hello, hi, good evening. My name is Jackie Nunn. I'm a resident of CD10. I live in Kenny Heights. I've been in this area now for over 50 years. I moved in Kenny Heights from Sugar Hill Country Club Drive, and I'm a visiting guest.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I guess we can hear you now, Vanessa, hopefully.
Hopefully, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I had to put in my Bluetooth. All right, thank you everyone for being here and allowing me to be in this space. My name is Vanessa Gutierrez. I work for LASA. I'm a community relations coordinator for SPA 6. And so I'm slowly making my way around to all the neighborhood councils to see how we can better collaborate and coordinate within LASA and our communities.
Put it on pause for a little bit.
Wonderful. And then we have a brand new, thank you so much, Vanessa. And we have a, yes, we just arrived, Karine. Is
Yes.
pronouncing it correctly?
Yes. Hi, how are you?
Hello, please introduce yourself, Karine.
Hi, my name is Karine Elbridge, and I live on Harvard Boulevard. I've lived here for close to 50 years.
Wow. Thank you so much for attending our meeting tonight. All right. So now that we know each other, let's go on to public comments. 1 to 2 minutes per speaker, please. And I have something to share at the request of Teresa. So Teresa, would you like to start with your public comment?
Yes, thank you very much, Lizzie. I just want everyone to know that we have a mobile vaccine clinic coming up this Saturday from 10 to 3. It's in 1700 Browning Boulevard. I guess everybody can see it, see the flyer. It's being brought to us by Asians Supporting Justice, I think it's the name. Geez, is that the correct flyer, Lizzie? Is that the one? That looks like the Facebook post flyer.
This was the one that was, it's a COVID-19 vaccine.
Yeah, there were 4 of them, but it's okay. Anyway, we have a vaccine clinic, and it's this weekend. It's Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, also boosters for those who are eligible, and they're also going to be doing pediatric vaccinations too. So if you have children, and I guess it's 5 to 7 or 7 to 11, I'm not quite sure what the age is, right? That's been approved right now, but they're going to be doing those vaccines too. Thank you.
Teresa, can you email me the flyer so I can help pass it around?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
All right. Any other public comments? Nope.
I can jump in.
Oh, yes, Vanessa.
Thank you. And I didn't know who I should send the email to. I don't have anybody's info. So I definitely want to promote our homeless count that's happening in January. If you aren't aware of what homeless count is, countywide, we go around and we count homeless individuals. And the reason why it's so important is because we also get the funding for those individuals in our communities. And so the more individuals we count, the more funding we get in our SPA. And so we need volunteers to help go out and do that. In SPA 6, our homeless count is on the 27th. And so we do have a registration. I have a flyer, but I also can put in the chat the website that you literally can sign up that way. And it depends on whatever zip code is convenient for you, that you can go in your neighborhood and count those, or somewhere else that you want to go and do that. But you can put in the zip code and you can apply online with a group of 3 people. So you don't have to get even out of your car. It's all online this time. And you can do it on a mobile app to go and count those people who are experiencing homelessness. And then we're able to gather that data and ultimately get the funding in those neighborhoods that we need those additional supports.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. And I guess Laura has her hand raised, and I think she can give you information on how to reach out to us. So Laura, go ahead.
Right. Well, I was going to supplement, but I can also double supplement. So Vanessa, I can email you, or you can email me, laura.myers, MEYERS @unnc.org. I'll put it in the chat. But also our UNNC Homelessness Liaison Committee is working on this and will be based at Holman United Methodist Church. So we're trying to encourage people to figure out how to sign up for that location. So what I'd like to do with you, Vanessa, is just make sure we can figure what the language would be.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we have different deployment sites. And so, yeah, that is one of our deployment sites that we can focus on and have people help get registered that way. Perfect.
All right, thank you. Any other public comments at this time? No. All right, let's move on to the next agenda item then, the general outreach plan. So this is an ongoing conversation on how to really initiate a more in-person outreach efforts. And at the last meeting, we started with a dialogue regarding the request from Region 4, Western Heights. And we had agreed that I would be communicating with them their need to come up with a more specific plan. But then Teresa emailed me recently about some information that she gathered during the Congress of Neighborhoods at a workshop there that has to do with maybe bulk rate mail. So Teresa, if you would like to maybe share that with us, and maybe I can add on to that, relay that information to Greg and Chris.
Okay, thank you, Lizzie. I remember Greg and Chris talking about doing a specific mailing just for their community. And while attending the neighborhood Congress, another neighborhood council, I think in Sun Valley, somewhere out east, they did a mailing through the Postal Service. So, and they said it was very effective. They did it for their elections, and they felt it was very effective. So I went to the post office website, and they have a marketing program, I guess we can call it that, called Every Door Direct Mail. They have different options. They can do mailings based on zip codes or based on the mail delivery person. Actually, if you tell them which blocks, and the mail person for those blocks will deliver it. And you can mail anywhere between 200 to 5,000 pieces of mail for 20 cents each. They also have a part of this program where you could submit your information and they help you. There's a template to design the marketing, brochure, and you can design your own, but if it fits in the parameters that they have. I mean, you can use your own artwork and stuff like that, or you can use their template. So anyway, I just thought it was, I wasn't sure what everybody's going to come back with, but I thought this was pretty interesting. I know that it's a little expensive, but I think if we were to do 5,000 pieces, if to do a 5,000 piece mailing, it would come to $1,000. So we didn't have a budget. I wasn't sure how many residents or even in Greg and Chris's neighborhood, but it's just something for us to consider if you want to, or if we want to move forward doing a direct mail campaign.
Yes. Thank you very much.
welcome.
So that is valuable information. If we wanted to, we had discussed at the last meeting that maybe for a pilot program within Region 4, it was probably not feasible because it is such a small area. So maybe they could do canvassing, door to door. But this is definitely an option. I will just bring it to them, and we can just also consider it for other areas in the upcoming outreach efforts. Laura, you have your hand raised. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you, Teresa. I actually followed the link that you had sent us, through the multiple levels of the post office. The one thing that seemed clear, although I could be misunderstanding, is we would also have to acquire a license with the post office. License may not be the right phrase, but it's you set up an account and you have to establish it at a particular post office. Not all of them take in the bulk mail. So the big question, I don't think it's expensive to do that. So then you could do it over and over again. You don't have to keep getting more of them. But what I don't know is how we do that via the funding program with the city clerk. I think we'd have to make sure, that, even with the post office boxes, new neighborhood councils who don't yet have a PO box actually have to put the PO box in the name of the city and not in the name of the neighborhood council. We already have one, so we don't have to do that. So I think we also would have to explore how we do this. I think it's a good idea to do it because our budgets are not always the same year to year. And we might one day be able to do a bulk mail to all of our stakeholders, but we first have to have that account or license.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Laura. Dolores.
I would think that because Region 4 is such a small area, that it would be great for the pilot program to see if the bulk mail is effective. And if it is, if we get a good result from it, then we can explore larger region. But I think because it's small, that it would be a good project for a pilot project.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dolores. Lolita.
So yes, I agree with Dolores because we should try with a small area and see if this is effective, because sometimes mailing things out, people just throw it into the trash and there you go, wasting dollars. So I would like to agree with Dolores. Perhaps we should look at more of a pilot small area first and see how it's received. This is where I agree with her on that.
What I would like to add is that, again, last time we had an issue, we had a slight problem defining what is considered effective in this case. We don't have a draft. We don't even have a draft of what they are trying to send to them, maybe an introductory letter, but then how can we consider what we would consider effective, in terms of how measurable is the success of this program. So I guess depending on what they are expecting to for stakeholders to react, what they are, yes, what their expectations are. So I think that would be something to consider. In my view, I will reiterate that as part of the outreach committee for us, I feel that we should just, outreach is an ongoing effort. We can just do many different projects, but sometimes we just hope for the best and hope that we get some type of, and again, I don't even know how to define, success. So I'm still wondering myself about it. Teresa.
Thank you, Lizzie. Well, I agree that we need to have a clear objective. So if their mailing is to get more people on our social media or to sign up for our webpage, those are kind of measurable things. We could say, oh, we did a mailing of 500 people and we got 50 new people sign up for our email blast or something like that, or that joined our Twitter page. But also, I think Chris and Greg need to tell us what they're trying to accomplish. Is it just to have a greater presence? Is it to get more people on our webpage? And when we're designing this, I'm just saying maybe there should be other things on there. Like I would love to put a little thing about trees, because now that we're in a drought, even though people are cutting back on their water, and we still have to water, if you have large trees, your trees still have to be watered. So depending on what size it is and the design and all that stuff, and what their objective is, maybe there are other things that can go on that little 5x7 or 8x10 card or whatever it is, besides just increasing our social media presence.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Lolita?
I agree with Teresa. We would have to have something to measure it from, because being involved in Get Out the Vote, we were knocking on doors. The knocking on the doors seemed to have been more effective, and we had something to measure from that versus when we were sending out the flyers. They weren't going over as well as just being out there, knocking on the doors, meeting the people. And I know we're in a different time now, but I think from my past experience doing an outreach, it just has to be measured, and it tends to have worked much better from just being out, knocking on the doors, getting to know the people and meet the people. So that's how I feel. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for your feedback. I will definitely relay this information to both Greg and Chris. And again, when they determine what their ending goal is, we will be better able to define what that success or effectiveness is. Teresa.
Thank you, Lizzie. I just was thinking about the branding presentation that we just approved at the governing board. Could it be the flyer is also, or the postcard is a new way to introduce the new at UNNC, or come see our new webpage, and it can be part of an outreach where we're reintroducing ourselves in this new updated manner. I don't know.
I believe Rahim at the last board meeting, he was very reluctant to start anything on the branding just yet. I think they want to do something more structured, more massive. So I would refrain from taking that approach, but I will definitely relay all this information to Region 4.
And also, more massive means more money. So I'm not sure what he's talking about, but we do have financial constraints too. So
right, but I think more massive in the sense that looking at the low budget outreach efforts, social media, pop-ups. So there are so many ways to do outreach, but as far as the branding is concerned, I think they are still very conservative about it. Okay. Yeah. But thank you for the comment. All right, so we end up with this. Let's move on, please, to the next item. I think there was And I'm sorry, Dolores, I know you had mentioned this from the last meeting as well, new neighbor care package. Is this something you still want to address at this time or for later? Because I think it had to do with the bags, right?
Yeah, what it depends on whether we have bags or not, or when we get bags. I don't know if we ever found out whether there were still some of those little not the big canvas bags, the expensive ones, but the little yellow giveaway bags that we had for Taste of Soul. If any of those are laying around.
No, but maybe Laura, is your comment?
Yeah,
Please go ahead.
my comment does relate to this. I did a bunch of research and in conjunction with Lizzie on bags, because we had just authorized spending money on bags. And if, Lizzie, is it okay if I share a screen?
Sure.
What I found was there are lots of inexpensive options for bags, but they're plastic. And one of the messages we're also trying to message out right now through, the environmental committee is about to embark on a whole campaign, save the stuff, reduce your use of plastic. So it felt that getting inexpensive plastic but orange bags would be bad because it would be mixed message. So I looked for paper bags, and can you see the screen? This is a Uline product, and they now have orange. I don't know if you can see my cursor there. And plus and minus. I mean, they're not expensive, as you can see. The Debbie bags, and I actually, weirdly enough, have one. And I have one in pink because I don't know if you guys can see it. I have an actual pink bag. Debbie bag seems like a good size. It's 10 by 5 by 13, but the orange is sold out, even though it's a brand new color for the moment. It's probably coming back. I mean, I talked to the salesperson, and it's probably coming back since they just invented it. It's sold out for Halloween. And they have between 1 and 3 day turnaround for shipping. It's kept in a California warehouse, but they do have the Cub bag, which is 8 by 4.5 by 10.25. And essentially you get 250 in a carton, and it's $74. So, I mean, we could try it. I mean, these are just paper again. I happen to have one because I think I was shopping at the Wellington Square Farmers Market and got one. And it might be, and we could get a larger size too. So Dolores, the question is, what were you going to put in a welcome to the neighborhood bag? If it's okay, Lizzie, if we have a conversation, I can take.
Yes, we have, I have a couple more things I would like to address, but yes, if Dolores would like to add a few words on this item.
It depends on what we have left. I know we had magnets, we had pins, we had the flyers for UNNC that describes who we are, what we're about, and what we've done. Just putting a couple of things in the bag to the neighbors, and for any region, but for my question, it was for the neighbors that moved into my street, and to give them something to let them know that we exist, because it seems to be that the neighborhoods are starting to be a little transient. People are selling the homes, people are buying the homes and moving into the neighborhood, and they don't know who we are, and even some of the current people don't know who we are. So it's just a matter of welcoming the folks to the neighborhood, and maybe even devising a welcome letter. I put together a letter for my next door neighbor when he moved in. I did that on my own while we were hassling back and forth with you. A welcome letter, and letting him know what the parking days were, what days the garbage people picked up, and about UNNC, about CPAP, our community police website that we do once a month, every Monday, just things that were happening in the neighborhood. And I listed all that stuff on a welcome to the neighborhood letter. So we could devise a letter along with a flyer and whatever else we have, whatever else swag that we have left over from before to put in the bag.
Okay.
And,
So-
and one other thing, why are we talking about buying bags when Grace volunteered to give us bags? I think she said something about 1,000 bags that she had.
Yeah, were they lime green and do we care?
I don't know what color they are, but why does it matter now?
I agree. I'm sorry to jump in here, but I kind of agree with Dolores on this, especially because we know, I don't know how many you were thinking about 250, Laura, but we know next year, hopefully we're going to start with this branding, and orange is orange even still a relevant color?
Yeah.
If we're going to, I would rather kind of go with white, but yes, in this case, I'd rather go with something free. We're on a tight budget. Yes, they were lime green or chartreuse or something like that, but if we could go with free ones and put stickers on it. I mean, weren't we talking about that?
Mhm.
Putting stickers, do we have enough stickers, or you were going to print them off, Laura?
I had to end the conversation and volunteer that I will do that. So, and the stickers would have our logo and could have the next logo too. They haven't done it. I think the reason we were talking about getting, I mean, again, this price is really low. And it just comes in cartons of
Free
200.
is lower. Free is lower.
Free is definitely lower. I'm not even disagreeing. I mean, the conversation started with a few bags at the moment for Dolores for a specific thing and Ciclavia, which we haven't gotten to yet. So we didn't want to spend a huge amount of money on totes. I will add, in the process of doing the research, I'm learning that most of the inexpensive totes that one can get, like for $1.50 a piece or $1.10 a piece, they're plastic. They're woven. They kind of have the feel of cloth, but they're actually plastic. And again, I feel like we don't want to mix our messages. You guys can decide. But once you get to the cotton or the actual totes that are not made with plastic in them, they start getting a little more expensive. Not as expensive as our big expensive bags, but they might be $3 or $4 a pop. So I think we wouldn't want to create those, because that would come with a printed logo until we really have a logo to include, with the new branding. I wouldn't want to use the old. That's my opinion, speaking of money. Okay, well, I'm going to unshare the screen, right? I don't think we need to keep staring at this. And yes, orange is still in the color wheel. The color they're eliminating was the sage green, not the orange in the branding. I'm going to take my hand down too.
Yes, I think for now, because we got that offer from Grace, and December 5th is around the corner, and I would rather spend our energy working on the informational materials that we need to gather, and let's leave that conversation for when the item arrives. I mean, then from when we get there to the Ciclavia event. But okay, so we agree that we will hold this project, or doing no more research on the bags. We will get Grace's offer to get the bags she offered, and we can then move on to the next.
Well, I was to say, and yes, I'm going to print the labels, but Lizzie's going to coordinate putting the labels on bags if anyone wants to help her.
Yes, at that moment. So the next item of discussion was, again, ongoing from the last meeting, was we had assigned ourselves, each one of us, most of us who were present that day, that night rather, tasks. So I believe Laura had offered to maybe start to design a plan, because we were also we agreed that we would try to do outreach to renters. That was one of the 3 kind of plans that we came up with. So if you have something ready, fine. If you don't, we'll move on to the next one. Dolores, You had offered to start a relationship with one of the managers, the one at the end of our block. If you have an update, please share. If not, we'll keep it for the next meeting.
For the next, because I forgot.
Okay, all right. So Teresa, any?
Okay. Wait,
That's fine.
wait.
Go,
Can I
go.
just say, in all of our defense, we've done a really good outreach effort around redistricting and the suspension of the council member and talking to elected officials and getting the word out. We've done terrific outreach, but none of us, I think, did what we promised.
Okay, lesson learned. I will remind everyone whenever there's homework to do about a week before in our meeting. So now I
What
know
was-
I need to do that. But mine
What was
was
mine?
yes.
What was mine, Lizzie?
You had offered to maybe update us on the efforts to for the Ryland program.
Oh, wait, I think I know what that is too. Oh, yes, that's
Emergency
the emergency
preparedness.
preparedness. Yeah, okay.
Yes, I think it's called Ryland.
Yeah.
RYLAN.
RYLAN,
Also
yes,
the
okay.
trees.
Wait,
I
wait,
think
wait. It sounds like redistricting.
but no, it's not. Okay, so what I had offered to do is to find out if our libraries would agree for us to start posting information regarding UNNC or maybe a special event in the neighborhood. So I spoke with Carla Valdez. I actually visited her at the Jefferson Branch Library. She was very kind, and unfortunately we used to have a whole board right as you enter on the right side, but unfortunately that board is now dedicated exclusively to the young adult section, and it's fine with me. So we will have another area where we will be able to post information. She also said that we could email her any notices for meetings, be it executive, governing board, committee meetings, and she would be happy to post on our behalf. I spoke also via telephone with Marcy Jones, the senior librarian at Washington Irving, and she was a little more reserved about this. She was kind of a little bit on the defensive. She said that we cannot have anything dedicated exclusively to UNNC. So I said, fine, it's perfect. We can share with other organizations. So she said, it's fine. At the same time, I reminded her that I wanted to know how the plants were doing, the plants that we had funded for the back area. And she said, unfortunately, because of the closing, abrupt closing once the pandemic hit, the plants died.
Oh.
So it's really sad. It's really sad. The plants died. So I told her that maybe, we might be able to come up with something to offer them, even maybe do a campaign, because succulents, natives, they can be propagated. So maybe we can do a big social media campaign to refurbish, Anyway, that's the update for the library. So yes, now the libraries can post our information. So
We used to post up at the coffee place. up on
Starbucks,
Washington, the coffee place, Starbucks.
Starbucks on Washington, right?
They used to let us post stuff there as well.
I kind of remember that. So maybe it's a matter of, yeah, I'll try to stop by the next time and ask them. Yes. Is the Starbucks by the former Holiday Bowl also in our footprint?
No,
Laura? Ah,
no.
okay, never mind. All right, so I have two hands. Who was first? Laura or Teresa?
Well,
Laura.
Okay, so, well, now two things. I think for special events, it would be okay to ask the Starbucks at the former Holiday Bowl to post anyway, because why not? But not
Right.
our day-to-day agendas. The Starbucks at Washington and Crenshaw remodeled, and so they have a really modern interior. And I'm not sure how much space they have for a community bulletin board, but we'd have to check that out. Why I was really raising my hand is that the plants were actually a project by Elizabeth Fenner and Marius Stelly.
Yes.
So on Thursday, let's just ask them if they want to plant again, because Marius has those, he wholesales those plants.
Yes.
So, and yes, requests for donations, but let's see if they'll spearhead replanting. That's thing number one, is the physical effort of planting.
Yes, because
And-
we funded
yeah.
the plants, but they were going to plant them to do the actual planting, I believe.
Well, right. So if that has to be planted again, we should ask the people whose project it was, if we can. And they probably would do it again, but I don't think they want to pay for it out of their own pockets.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Teresa.
Thank you, Lizzie. I was also going to talk about that planting area. One of the things we're going to try to do this year is a campaign to have everybody grow flowers for the monarch butterflies. And if that has if there's full sun back there, then maybe we can put some plants back there for the butterflies.
Right.
Milkweed, right?
Milkweed.
Yes, milkweed. Thank you. I couldn't think of it.
Sure.
But I ordered a lot of seeds from Theodore Payne, and I'm going to start those pretty soon, so that they should be ready by the springtime, as little seedlings to hand out. But they do need full sun. So if that's not full sun, it wouldn't be a good place, a good location.
Yes. Thank you. So I had promised to text Dorit about the next agenda item, which is the Ciclavia. So let's get started on that. But let me just quickly, bear with me.
Well, while we're still doing other ideas on general
Yeah.
outreach, and I'm sorry I didn't raise my hand. I think part of my thinking is that some of our other committees are wanting to do outreach style campaigns. So environmental committee talked about, doing the milkweed plants in the spring. And as well, this, I want to say save the stuff, keep the stuff campaign, and it needs to launch in the next week or so. I mean, and it's, and we have some ideas, and maybe make a postcard, which has got no funding yet, but maybe they'll pay for it themselves. But the point is, we should be reaching out to our other UNNC committees to see what kind of outreach efforts for their focus they may wish to do. So for example, the Homelessness Liaison Committee wants to do outreach related to the homeless count in January. So it's not just Vanessa who's doing this citywide or countywide, but the committee itself had talked about doing some outreach on it. So I just think when we think about putting together even a little package on the next item, Ciclavia, but we need to include those efforts in our thinking, because we hadn't ever done focus. So if we could get the Economic Development Committee going again, I know that what Chris wanted to do within the committee was reaching out to small businesses on Pico, Washington, Jefferson, with some sort of information card about something, about not just UNNC, but about resources for them, not just, and we would be one of a series of resources on a card in English and Spanish for the small
Right.
businesses. So
I will send some general message to all the board members, and especially the committee chairs, to start working on something more specific.
I mean, obviously, everyone has great ideas. Not everyone then has the time in their personal lives to implement their ideas. But if we create an encouraging environment through this committee that they feel like if they do the effort, it then can be spread out. That I think that's what, this committee's task would be.
Yes. All right. Is it okay if we move on to the next item, which is the Ciclavia, discussing about this? So Ciclavia is, I'm sure all of us know what Ciclavia is. They will be having the next route through South LA. More specifically, the main part of the route is, I believe, Martin Luther King. And they touch the starting hub, one of the end hubs touches the UNNC footprint. So we arranged through the organizing people at Ciclavia to have a table and a tent. They are renting it, those items on our behalf for free. So it's a giveaway. So why not? We'll be there. We're planning to have some other community organizations that we work closely with to join us. And so it's Sunday, December the 5th from 9 to 3. That is the time. And I would like board members to volunteer to tend, to greet the passersby and to give the materials, informational materials to them. It will, so probably in slots of 2 hours. So 9 to 11, 11 to 1, 1 to 3. I will probably be during the first lot, maybe the last one. At the same time, we are trying to put together a writing team. So if you would like to participate, if you have a t-shirt, great. A UNNC t-shirt, either the beige or orange, doesn't matter. But if you would like to participate but don't have a t-shirt, maybe just get an orange one would be great. Or just join us. If there are friends who would like to join us, great as well. So we would just keep it informal. We're just starting this effort. I also communicated with Gibson, our NEA, just because I wanted to let him know that we will be attending, because we have been restricted during this pandemic, so restricted about doing outreach. And I wanted for him to be in the loop about this. And at the same time, I requested if he could offer, if Don would provide us with informational materials, or maybe if he could refer us to some city agencies. So he said he would send me a box. I'm not sure what the contents of the box will be. So surprise, surprise, but he will send it to my house, and hopefully, we can get some. We have the pins, we have the magnets, we have the bags from Grace. So I think I will also ask, again, committee chairs to maybe create some poster boards that we could just hang around the tent and around the table, maybe set them up on the table. So that would be, that's the gist of it, of what we're planning to do. So we can discuss this further. Dolores, and then Rosie, please. Dolores, your hand is up.
Yeah, thank you, Lizzie. I'm just a little curious. I was going to ask you,
Yes.
what materials were we going to pass out at the Ciclavia table? Because I had asked about anything that we had to give to my neighbors, and I was told there wasn't anything. So I'm a little confused.
We have a few magnets, a few pens.
Well, 50 or more of each.
Yes. So what we have, we can distribute. And we will be working on a simple postcard or flyer, just with more than anything, it will be referring them to visit our website and to let them know that we are your neighborhood council and that you have a voice with us. But it will be a very simple message. Again, we don't want to create anything too complicated, too complex, again, because of the upcoming branding, campaigns. So
Well,
we're
we
just-
don't know when that team is going to complete the branding.
right.
And so I no,
Dolores, so yes,
I don't get it. I don't get
let
it.
me
Lizzie.
clarify this. Let me clarify this for you. This upcoming ciclovia is just around the corner. So we just want to make sure, we want to take advantage of this opportunity to do some type of in-person outreach. But at the same time, we don't have the time to create anything too fancy or too elaborate. But we want to be there, and we just want to let them know who we are. We are your neighborhood council.
We don't
And
have to create anything. We already have a UNNC flyer that we use. What do you mean? Why are you shaking your head?
those flyers are very outdated.
Right.
The information in there is outdated. We need to create something. Remember when we had the postcards for the elections? Something as simple as that. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. Just think of it as our business card. That's it. And basically just for this Ciclavia event, which is again around the corner.
Yeah.
And then that's why I reached out to Gibson, because I know that Don is very eager to increase awareness about the NC system. So I found a commitment card from, I don't know even when it was given to me, but and I'm sorry, I have a picture, but I have a picture somewhere from Don. And I think that's probably what they're sending us. It's sort of something that people could fill out, asking to maybe be included in a mailing list, or what they would like to know more about Don or the NC system. But again, we're running against time right now. Yes, so we have Rosie, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, yes.
Yes. First thing I want to do is apologize to you, Lizzie, for the last time we were here all together. I was really short and rude to you, and I do apologize. That's not my usual self. But I do want to ask.
Accepted, Rosie.
Okay. What I do want to ask is I think you should ask Gibson, what is he going to give you, so you have at least some type of idea.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a color flyer that we used to use all the time for the legal dumping. Do you think that there's something in the budget where you can make some flyers with that? One side is English, one side is Spanish. I don't know if it's still the same department, but the Department of Street Services or Sanitation that may have something that they can give you, maybe some flyers. And there was another place I contacted, I picked them up from, I can't think of the name right now, but I'll check in my emails, and they gave me some items also that I went to pick up, and they were just downtown also. So is building and safety, and not building safety, street services and public works is right downtown also.
Yes. Okay.
So I'll give you those numbers and see if they can give you something to have for that day.
Exactly. Yes, because I think that would be really useful for the attendees to have that kind of information. Yes, unfortunately, Gibson told me that he was going to send me a box, but he was going to, he didn't know what the box contents. He was going to, I guess, talk to someone else and make the arrangements for us to get a box of whatever it is. But so at this time, he doesn't know exactly what it is, but we're getting something. So once we do, then I can ask for more moratorium.
So Dunn is actually allowing you guys, UNNC, to stand out there and give stuff out.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna assume, because I sent him this long letter explaining what we're planning to do. I included the writing as a team, that we would follow any current protocols for COVID-19. He said nothing. He just said, thank you. I'm sorry I replied late. I will ask my supervisors and arrange to send you a box. And where should I send? That was it. So I assume that all is well. We're good to go. So I'm not gonna touch the subject anymore. Yes, Teresa or Laura? Thank you,
Teresa.
Rosie.
Teresa's next.
Teresa, please.
Thank you, Lizzie. You said we have about 50 magnets or 50 pencils, pens. I think we should allocate some to Dolores so she can at least hand out these bags
Oh,
to
no,
her
yes,
neighbors.
of course. I don't
Okay.
think we're gonna be spending. And Dolores, I did tell you that we had those before.
Yes, but my impression was that she wasn't gonna, maybe it's just me, but okay, as long as Dolores gets them so she can give them to her neighbors.
Absolutely.
And also, if the way I understand it, communications is a part of outreach or a subset of outreach, correct, Lizzie?
You know, the line is very gray. There are other NCs that have it together, you know, stuff.
Okay, because if not, then executive will deal with this, because I want to see a rollout. I want to see a timed rollout for this new presentation. It took him months to get it through. He had the patience to do that. So come on, let's start going. I want to see a rollout. How much it's going to cost to get the website updated? How much it's going to cost to get Twitter updated, or get the new this or the new that? I would like, and I don't know, maybe I'll just ask Dolores if we could add it to the agenda for executive.
All those questions should be addressed to them directly.
Yes, okay.
At this meeting, we cannot really come up with any.
No, we can't, but if I understand correctly, and communications is under a subset of communications, then it would be this committee's responsibility to give them direction. But don't worry about it. We're going to do it at executive. Thanks.
Yes. Sure. Thank you. Laura.
Hi. So we had also, again, talked about partnering with or inviting other community-based organizations to share our table. So presumably to have at the table, we'll have plenty of stuff. One of the things again, Lizzie, okay if I share the screen one more time?
Yes. Oh,
yes.
Yeah. What would you like to share?
What am I trying to say? Hang on. I will, can you see that? Skip the stuff. You know, this is the marketing material on this thing, but we would insert it into something with a UNNC logo and put Spanish on the other side. So that's what, you know, kind of what we're talking about from the environmental committee is, you know.
I see the name of the file, but we don't.
You don't see skip the stuff?
We cannot see the postcard itself.
Oh, okay, hang on, I'll try that again.
Sure.
I love Zoom sometimes. Just sometimes.
Hi, Doreen. You'll be next.
Now can you see it?
Yeah. Yes, we can. Could you make it bigger, please?
Maybe.
I guess it's okay.
Yeah, this is just from the Reuse LA website. So we would take this and put it into a border that includes then the UNNC logo, right? And then we need your help to translate it on the other side. So,
yes.
You know, a two-sided postcard.
But to do so.
Right. And maybe, you know, and maybe do it differently. I mean, in other words, this is what's on their website, but frankly, the bold action has already happened at the city level. So I think that aqua blue piece of it would have to have different words. So it's just a design. I mean, I'm just saying this is the material they have on their website. And, but that's the kind of thing that I am thinking about, these random things. So in terms of the refrigerator magnets, we want to get rid of all of them and then do it again, because a lot of the information's outdated. So we have a lot of them, but the My 311 app had not yet been invented at the time we printed the magnets. What the magnets are is list contact information for lots of different city services. So if we have 50 or 500, we'd love them all to go away, you know, but not in the trash, just hand them out. And then when we have the new brand, to Teresa's point, once we have the new brand, there are a lot of things we're going to want to create. So we will need to create budget around it. But that may, frankly, be next year's budget as this is kind of trudging along slowly. And lastly, I just wanted to ask Rosie a question. You know, you and I, and again, we did that shared space at the last Ciclavia. Doesn't it seem like a lifetime ago? But it was in Arlington Heights just, what, Rosie, 2.5 years ago? And we shared,
Yeah.
you know, with Waha and others. So that worked
Yeah.
out really well to have more people sharing. But do you recall, did people take a lot of materials or not, if you remember? Because I don't remember.
I think we had a nice brisk amount of people coming through there. Most of them weren't from Arlington Heights, or they didn't really want to sign up. But
Right.
the illegal dumping, they was very much interested in, and just kind of knowing about neighborhood councils in general. They were asking about not just ours, but where they may live. But it was good to have another entity next to us that people are interested in, because it makes them kind of look at your booth too, and then just, you know, start talking to you.
Right. But it also allowed us to get up and leave and still have somebody manning our booth.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it kind of doubled or tripled the number of people who were helping.
May I speak as, I know I'm late. I apologize. I was at the Sugar Hill meeting. It's the same night as this meeting. As someone who goes to these Ciclavias as a biker, as a bicycle ridist, we don't want a whole lot of stuff. I'm kind of concerned about giving out, I heard pins. I don't know if you mean writing pins, because when those hit the ground, if someone throws one on the ground and your bike tire hits it, you can spit out. And I've done that. I will show you the scar that I got Sunday on my knee, riding here on Washington. So maybe let's be really thoughtful about giving out too much stuff. Almost everyone at Ciclavia has a cell phone with one of those things you can scan, you know, take pictures of that weird looking box. I'm an idiot, I'm sorry. Maybe we could do that instead, so people can click and then get it on their phone and get it, talk about completely being green. So yeah, let's be very mindful about giving out too much stuff, because that's stuff that we have to then carry. And that's all I wanted to say. So Liz, do we have a sign-up sheet that we want us to sign in for what hours we want to do the booth?
I am planning to send a message to our colleagues, and hopefully in slots of 2 hours, and then allow us also to ride the route. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. Yes, and we're getting you a t-shirt soon.
Super duper, so I can alter it. You said it's what, triple extra large?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're huge.
Yeah,
But
we have 7 triple X 3X t-shirts.
You know what, give me one of those. I could easily make a dress out of it.
great.
Easily.
Yes. So we have now, thank you, Dorit, Rosie, right? Is Rosie next?
I don't know.
Yes. Go ahead,
Just
Rosie.
to answer Dorit's question, the last Ciclavia that we did, a lot of people were walking. So we were handing out to those people who were coming to the booth who were walking. We weren't handing them out to those people who were actually riding their bikes. They wasn't coming over to the booth riding their bikes. We were handing them out to people who were walking around the perimeters, because they did have a zone for kids, you know, to do a rock climbing and food trucks and all that. So it wasn't given out to people who were actually riding. They would get out to people who were walking.
I just want to make the point, though, please be very careful about handing out pins, because if they wind up on the ground, it can be dangerous.
Point taken. Thank you. Teresa.
Thank
you,
Vicki.
Rosie.
I have talked to Raheem about the QR codes, and maybe that should be also part of what communications is going to do in the future. But you may remember, Lizzie, during the governing board meeting, when Dolores and I were requesting, or the conversation came up about business cards. Dolores and I, being kind of old fashioned, wanted business cards, but a couple other people, Nancy and I think Taylor, talked about other more modern ways of connecting with other people. And those QR codes are very popular. They're on the iPhone. You go to a restaurant, you get your menu that way through those. So I really think that should also, we should design, and we should have a QR code. Each board member should have one. There should be one for the UNNC that we can share with people. And I'm not sure where he is on that, but I think that's a great idea. And that would alleviate some of the handouts, and especially the pens that Dorit is talking about.
Yes. Thank you. Lolita.
Yes, well, I'm gonna need a t-shirt, and also I'm kind of with Dorit on the handouts of the like pens and things of that sort, because I write too, and she is right that can really mess you up if a lot of that ends up being just scattered around. And perhaps we can direct something more tangible to carry versus a pen, representing the organization.
All right. Thank you, Lolita. Rosie.
Yes. Don't we already have a QR code on something already? I think Raheem and them are already done.
Anybody
I don't know, Rosie.
I know that during the presentation, it was in one of the slides. It was just one of the ideas that they had for doing low budget outreach. to have it somewhere on the pavement, I think, so people could scan it. But again, I was telling everyone that they seem to be still very protective of their project, and I don't think they're willing to release anything at this point just yet.
Well, not exactly for the new stuff, but I thought we had a QR code.
I mean,
before they started that, before they even started that, I thought we have some type of papers that have the QR code on it. We'd have to reach out to Raheem and ask him.
I have a feeling that I've seen it at maybe in that flyer, Laura. Is there like a barcode in there?
I don't know, but what I'm thinking is the key question I would have is, can we have, if we don't yet, have a QR code that takes people to our website?
Okay, maybe.
And importantly, when they change the look of the website, will the same QR code still take people to the website?
Okay, so
because if we have a QR code, I would say that we have print up big on both ends of the table.
Yes.
And then people can, in fact, that's all we need. We don't need a QR code for each individual effort at this point. I mean, for Ciclavia.
Right. Not for Ciclavia, correct.
Yes, I will definitely reach out to Raheem and ask him, can we have something big with a barcode that directs people to the website?
Right. And we will have pens that say UNNC there, because people might want to sign up on a piece of paper, and we'll just have the rest of them kind of in our back pockets, so somebody might take one and then we'll have one to replace it.
But if we do, we need to tell them, be careful. Like
absolutely. But we're going to have pens because we're going to need people. We want people to sign in for our website.
Usually always carry a backpack, and whatever is there, I put it in my backpack. But I know that people are careless and they could just, things can spill to the ground. So it's point taken. I totally understand.
I do too.
Yes. All right. So
well, I do want to point out the magnets that we keep talking about are not metal magnets. They're plasticky cards that stick to your refrigerator. So they're not going to harm anybody's bike.
That's good.
Yes. And yes, and the flyer, for example, what I wanted to tell Dolores, the flyer, the information is outdated. Some of it is outdated in the sense that it says, for example, that we meet at 1819 Manhattan Place, which is no longer true. There's no information there about the Zoom meeting on Zoom right now. So therefore, that's why we need to have some type of just a simple message that and all that information is in our website. So if we direct people to the website, that's a better way to, you know, instead of using that flyer, because yeah, it has outdated information.
Right. And we're not going to go back meeting there most likely. So.
Right. So I believe this is what I had. If someone else wants to add something regarding outreach, maybe a new idea. When I wrote other ideas, it was Teresa's reporting about the bulk mail and EDD.
Right.
So
yeah, I'm sorry. I do need to, for the back to Ciclavia for a sec. The way it worked, and Rosie had her own experience. Rosie had a wonderful wagon she was carrying stuff in on, but we had to be completely set up by 9 o'clock or maybe even by 8:30. It was before the official timing. And we were not allowed to unset up until the very end because the roads are closed to traffic. So we had a benefit that the one on Venice Boulevard was right around the corner from someone we knew with house. So a lot of the materials that were out at the accompanying community table that had West Adams Avenues, West Adams Heritage, and other stuff we had collected actually was sitting in the living room of a neighbor overnight. So we were able to stage the night before. And then Rosie came in with UNNC things on with a wagon. And so it was easy. This one is going to be at Exposition in Crenshaw. So we're going to need to figure out the logistics of bringing less, not more actually, but how we're going to bring it in. And it has to be in by 9 or by 8:30, whatever Rachel tells us. And we cannot remove it till 3. So we'll need setup help, in other words, and take down help separate from personing the booth.
Do we have a tablecloth?
We could.
No, but do we have one that says UNNC on it already?
We have 2. They're huge though, but
okay,
we can have them there.
I have 2 baskets on my bike that can actually hold quite a bit. I could bring stuff down easily. Like I said, we don't need a lot of stuff, so right. we could do this pretty easily.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and once I get the box from Gibson, I'll have a better idea of what we'll have, you know. Yes, so if we can move on to to approving the minutes, right? Yes. So but thank you for this very productive discussion, and we'll have so we remain with our tasks, with our homework for the next meeting. Okay.
Give us a month's notice, Lizzie.
Yes,
just a week.
I will. Okay, let me share the screen. Minutes. So the minutes, so at the last meeting, it was Rosie, Teresa, Laura, Dolores, and myself. So I can scroll down. It's just one page. I summarized a lot. If someone is ready to move and second, please.
Move to approve the meeting minutes as presented.
Okay.
Okay, and I can second it, even though it does remind me strongly of what I didn't do.
Okay, that is fine. No worries. All right. So if the ones who are present, if you agree or approve the minutes, please. Okay, do I have, okay, Dolores, yes. And Rosie, yes. All right. So thank you very much. And we adjourned the meeting at 8:15. So that's great. We took an hour and 15 minutes. So thank you again so much for attending tonight. And we'll see each other soon.
Okay,
Okay.
thank
And
you.
have a good night, everyone.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Good night.
Good
night.
night.
Okay, bye, Lizzie.
Bye, Laura. Thank you.